Video number 7, over the top, right? Common mistake or fault, we come over the top. Where did that come from, right? What does that term mean? Well, over the top in its purest form is I get up to here and then we just go this way, right? We just kind of, everything moves to out that way. And then as I come down, it's usually across this way. Sometimes though, I'll see over the top where it's out this way, right? And then the body will put on the brakes and we'll stand it up. Okay, so they'll kind of go out and then they'll kind of reverse it at the end and try to save it. But generally we get this excessive movement this way and the cross. What causes over the top? Well, number one, you'll see a lot of players who are over the top because the club face is open, right? We get that open club face. And when the club face gets open, let's just say that I took it back and the face is open and I bring it down and the face is open and it's like, well, it goes off that way. Like I can't play golf with the ball going too far to the right. So I start going, well, if I go this way, now I can get the path going excessive more to the left and I can get that face to look closer to the target line, right? And I can get that face to kind of get more around like this, but because that path is to the left, we slice it. But it starts more left, right, because of where that face is looking, and then it curves back to the right. So we come over the top to combat that open face. Well, what happens is let's say now I close that face, right? Let's say now instead of the toe being this way, now the toe is this way. Let's say now instead of the club face looking like this at the top, that's open, right? See the toe hanging down. Let's say now it's looking more like this. All right, so now the club face is looking more to the sky. Well, if you come over the top with that club face more closed, now you're just going to hit poles. So oftentimes, I'll just get in there, fix the club face. If that's you and you've got that open face, go back to video 1. Watch that video. Get the club face more shut. And what's going to happen is if you stay with that, well, now coming over it doesn't work. So now you gotta work it more from in here. And you got to start letting it come from the inside and swinging it what feels like more out to the right. So open club face. Another reason why we come over the top is we get that inside takeaway. We take it too far in here. So it goes inside behind my hands early, then it goes up, and then it encourages us to go over the top. Okay? I see that a lot. I see that one as much as the open face. So if you're this inside takeaway person, go watch that video, video 3. Learn how to get the club head working more up and out in front of you so you can make a better turn and then shallow it out back to the inside. So you start cleaning up the club face and you start cleaning up this first move where it's a little more out in front of you with the face square or slightly closed. Well, now I start to turn better and get things more organized up here so where I can now shallow it out. Another reason why you can come over the top is I see players with their spine in too much left bend. We get out ahead of it, okay? So we get set up sometimes with our head over it, and then when we turn, we kind of stay over it, or we kind of move more out in front of it, right? So we kind of get out in front with the spine in too much left bend. And as we get out in front with too much left bend, well, that's going to encourage oftentimes the club to get going that way as well, okay? So I like to see the spine in a little bit of right bend, okay? And then when we turn, then we can return in a little bit of right bend. So that one, you'll see that one once in a while, but not nearly as much as I'll see the other two. There's other factors. I could talk for a long time on this. But I think the takeaway here, the bottom line is we don't want this. We want more of this. Okay? We want the club to kind of shallow out and get kind of in behind us a little bit more. The reality is the club needs to get behind you. Okay? not out in front of you if you're too much over the top. You need to get the club behind you. You need to get your lead arm kind of back and behind you, not out in front of you. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. So what I like to see when fixing this is A, at address, bow forward, a little bit of side bend here to the right. And then I like to make sure that A, the club face is square, and B, we've got this pretty much in line, parallel shaft to the target line here. Now, from here, we can make that good solid turn and get the lead arm working around. That's key. Some lead arm depth can help. And you can get the lead arm working around you as you kind of get cleaned up in here more. Just don't like this, okay? Get it there. If you've got that face open and or inside takeaway, go watch video 1 and 3. Okay, get that down because it's going to set the stage for you now to turn better and get the lead arm working around. And as I've said many times through these videos, the turn, let the right hip turn. Let the right knee lose some flexion. Get this to get out of the way. Let the left knee come across. I got a lot of programs on how to turn like this that are thoroughly explained, okay? But you've got to get some turn in the lower, and you've got to get some turn, of course, in the upper. But, look, if you turn the lower, the upper is going to turn. The point here is don't just turn the upper and not the lower. Get the lower to turn with it, and you'll feel the shoulders turning better. You'll feel the spine wanting to extend a little bit, kind of back this way, extension, as you turn. And man, that really gets my lead arm going that way behind me. Don't stay down, right? Don't stay down like this, because then we tend to lift. Get some extension with the turning of the right hip, and your lead arm will work back behind you. That doesn't mean this, it means this with this. Okay, so some lead arm depth can help. Now, from there, as we start down and we start getting rid of this over the top, the face is in position, we've got lead arm depth. Now we can start to lay it down. We can start getting the club to fall behind us. And I like two things here. I like a little bit of external, okay, external rotation, the right elbow pinching in this way, not this way. We certainly don't want to go here and then just boom. We want to go in and let that right elbow kick. Pinch the left, okay? Don't pull down, pinch the left, and you'll feel the club fall back. And when you do that, then get the left wrist to flex and curl a little bit. You feel like it's a little flexed, a little a la DJ. I feel a little bowed almost for some. Don't pull down. Right now things are going to want to go back out that way. So a little bit of right elbow, left wrist, look where that club goes, behind me with my lead arm depth. Now that club is falling back in behind. And when I get down into this parallel position to the ground, feel the club head back behind the hands. Okay? And not the other way, out there. Okay? So we start fixing this over the top with some preliminary work, to be quite honest. Club face, club head, out there, with some better turn and lead arm depth. And now we can start to shallow it and drop it back down in here, pinching the right elbow, curling the left wrist. And then when I go to turn to hit it, I always like to see a little bit of right bend. Right? We don't want to dive out in front of us, but as I bring it down, that weight is moving left. And when I turn, I feel that little right bend. And once again, I feel that little extension. There's that extension thing again in the spine. The spine, once again, is extending back through the impact zone. And that really rounds it out because I feel that trail shoulder now just kind of working a little bit more under my left and not so high, and over the top per se this way. So some meat and potatoes in there. It's interesting over the top. I wanted to give you some preliminary things to think about, okay, to make sure we've got some things organized so then we can start shallowing it out and getting it behind us with the face square. So when I can now turn and hit it with that right bend and extension through the strike, and hopefully you'll start feeling it tracking from in here and less from out here, and that ball flight starts to